You think the kiss is the peak of the moment, but what happens afterward? That's where the real magic begins, because what you do next doesn't just touch his skin, it reaches his soul. Every kiss opens a door, but most women rush through it and miss the sacred space that follows. If you want him to not just remember you, but feel everything about you, what happens after the kiss is where your real power lives. Most people think the kiss is the grand finale, the firework, the climax, the emotional high. But the truth is, the deeper emotional shift begins right after. The space that follows the kiss is where many women unknowingly lose their power. They hurry to fill the silence, step back too fast, laugh nervously, say something random, or act like the moment didn't mean as much as it did. But a woman who understands emotional influence, who feels the psychology of connection, she does something different. She stays in the moment. She breathes into it. She lets the energy linger. And in that quiet stretch, something happens to a man that he can't explain. Something that moves beyond desire and into the hidden parts of his heart. Right after the kiss, if you can stop yourself from shifting or speaking too soon, you open a space where his guard melts more than ever before. He's no longer reacting, he's feeling the stillness, the pause, the breath hanging between you. It's in that exact space that he realizes he's not just close to you physically, he's opened emotionally. That openness scares most men when they're with someone who doesn't know how to hold it. But when you hold that moment with presence, when you stay without filling the silence, you become the woman he links with emotional safety. Think about how often people rush through intimacy because they fear what might be revealed. We're told silence is awkward, that stillness is emptiness. But for a woman who is emotionally in tune, silence is seductive. Stillness is where all the unspoken beauty lives. The kiss already spoke through the body. Now your energy speaks louder. Your stillness says, I don't need to chase this. I am this. And that truth, that calm confidence, shifts everything. The pause after the kiss lets him feel more than just lust. He feels softness, wonder, unspoken respect, sometimes even confusion, because this doesn't happen to him often. He's used to rushed touches, empty connection. But now you're here, not pushing, not proving, not filling space. You're simply being. And that changes you from a moment into a memory. It makes you magnetic, not because of the kiss, but because of the way you stayed inside it. Men aren't used to time slowing after a kiss, but when it does, when you give him that emotional depth, he feels something old and deep rise inside him. It's the same feeling a warrior gets when he drops his armor. Not out of weakness, but because he finally feels safe. And safety for men is rare. When they find it, they connect in ways they can't explain. In that moment, your breath becomes louder than words. The way your eyes linger on his, the soft rise and fall of your chest, the way your lips stay parted just slightly, all of it becomes a new kind of language, one he didn't even know he needed. That pause, that in-between space is sacred. And if you fill it with calm, feminine presence, you leave a mark on him that no performance ever could. This isn't about playing a game. It's about being aware. You're not trying to pull him in with tricks. You're inviting him into a deeper kind of experience, one that doesn't skip ahead, one that honors that intimacy is not casual. You're showing him you value the feeling, not just the thrill. And that unforgettable. Because here's the truth. Most men are starving emotionally. They touch and they're touched, but they rarely feel seen. They want more, but they don't know how to ask. And here you are, after the kiss, not talking, but sensing. Not moving away, but staying present. Not asking, but allowing. That kind of feminine stillness isn't just beautiful, it's powerful. It invites him to return to the part of himself the world told him to bury. So the next time you kiss him, don't rush into words or laughter or even another kiss. Stay. Let the silence settle. Let the world blur. Let your energy speak for you. Trust that your stillness carries more meaning than noise ever could. Trust that the moments that live on in memory aren't always the loudest, they're often the quietest. The ones where you both feel something real stirring beneath the surface. That stillness right after the kiss, that's the moment that begins everything. That's when you stop being just someone he kissed and start becoming someone he can't forget. After the kiss, when the air is thick with heat and feeling, there's this rare moment, a pause where everything feels suspended. Many women think it's what they say next that will define the memory, but the truth is more ancient, more silent. It's not your voice that stays with him, it's your touch. Your fingers, when used with care and emotion, speak in ways words never could. They reach his skin, but they echo deeper. They send messages straight into the nervous system. Where words can falter, your fingers whisper truths. You don't need to talk to be understood. You need to feel and to share that feeling through your hands. That's why the woman who touches slowly, gently, with presence after a kiss becomes unforgettable. Not because of what she does, but because of what she awakens. There's a difference between touching to excite and touching to reveal. One is surface, the other is soul. When your fingers trace his skin with wonder, with softness, as if learning a story he's never told, he doesn't just feel desire, he feels known. For a man who's been taught to be strong, to hide emotion, that kind of touch opens something tender in him, something most never reach. It's all in how you touch. You're not grabbing or rushing. Your hand moves like it's reading his story across his chest. You stroke his collarbone like it's sacred. You brush his face like you're memorizing the shape of who he is. And in doing that, you're telling him something words never could. I see you. I accept you. I feel you. That kind of touch slows him down. It opens doors inside him where his walls begin to fade. Suddenly, he's not just the man with the strong arms or steady voice. He's also the boy underneath it all, the soul beneath the surface. And you don't force your way in, you're invited because your touch asks gently. That's rare. Most men are touched for what they can give, for their strength, for the fantasy. Rarely are they touched with presence, as if their being matters. When your fingers say, you don't have to impress me, I already see you, something inside him lights up. You're not touching to push things forward, you're touching to anchor, to ground him, to show him with every soft movement that he's here to feel, not just to perform. And that kind of touch, that kind of awareness is what changes everything. Your hands become part of your emotional expression, and when they move slowly across his skin, they become a quiet truth. A message that says, I want your presence, not just your body. And that message cuts through all the noise. It hits the part of him that's been waiting for realness, even if he didn't know it. And he won't even be sure why he feels different with you. He might say, there's something about her, or I can't get her off my mind. That's because your touch didn't just stir his body. It calms something inside him. And that mix, pleasure mixed with emotional peace, is what turns passion into connection. Let your fingers pause. Let them hover in places that matter. His neck, his chest, behind his ear. These places carry energy and emotion. When you touch them softly, you're saying, I see all of you and I honor it. Even if he can't explain it, his body remembers, his heart remembers. And here's the best part. You don't have to say a single thing. While others rely on loud seduction, moans, fast breathing, dramatic scenes, you're giving him something more real. You're creating intimacy with silence. with the gentleness of your hands, with the quiet strength of your presence. You're letting your fingers speak for your heart. You're saying, I'm here. I'm not afraid of what you carry. I see you. That's the secret. Your fingers can tell a truth deeper than your voice, a truth that doesn't just stir a man, but awakens him. And once he's felt that, no other touch will compare to your silence. After a kiss, the emotional air is alive, but unshaped. This is the moment where most women either break the connection or deepen it, not by doing more, but by tuning in. Many believe they need to take charge, change the mood, or build momentum, but the true power lies in alignment. You don't lead with force, you lead by feeling where he is and gently lifting the moment. Every man has a rhythm after intimacy. He might be fast, heart racing, breath quick, or he might slow down, feeling calm and open. You don't try to change him right away. You feel him. If his eyes are closed, you leave them. If he's quiet, you stay quiet. If he breathes deeply, you match him. You're telling his whole being, I feel you. I'm here with you. You're not forcing a path. You're joining him on his path. That's the beginning of emotional harmony. But that's not where it ends. Once you're in tune with him, you gently guide the energy upward. It's like dancing. You don't pull, you lead softly. Maybe you open your eyes and give a soft smile. Maybe you let your fingers glide across his jaw. Maybe you whisper, not to distract, but to invite him deeper. Your presence, these subtle shifts are invitations. They quietly say, I see you and I want to go deeper with you. Elevation doesn't mean breaking the moment. It means building on it. If the kiss was passion, now you offer gentleness. If it was slow, now you give feeling. You become the emotional builder in this moment. And a skilled builder doesn't tear down what already exists. She adds to it, carefully, thoughtfully, with beauty. A man is used to women reacting to him. But when he meets a woman who can feel where he is emotionally and gently lift him to where she is, without pushing, without ego, he feels something deeply rare. He feels held, not controlled, understood, not judged. And most of all, he feels like he can trust you with his softer side. That's where the shift happens, because what you're offering isn't just affection, it's emotional guidance. And that draws him in more than words ever could. You're showing him that you don't just feel the spark, you sense the deeper energy behind it. You're not only here with your body, you're here with your spirit. And you're scared to lead with softness. And that's the secret. Gentleness isn't weakness. It's focused, quiet strength. A man who is truly in tune will feel that feminine energy like a wave. Gentle, but unforgettable. You're not overpowering him. You're leading him back to himself. You're showing him he doesn't have to be on all the time, that he can lower his guard, and with you, he can become something more whole. That emotional lifting, it's so subtle he won't even notice it's happening. He'll just feel better when he's around you. Calmer, more alive, more grounded. It won't feel like just a kiss anymore. It'll feel like a reflection of himself seen through your love, your calm, your depth. And that kind of mirror, it doesn't just reflect, it changes him. Because in the end, what you're doing is taking the raw energy of the kiss, the heat, the spark, and directing it into something greater, into closeness, into resonance, into something that doesn't vanish once the physical moment fades. You're creating emotional gravity, the kind that keeps him circling your world long after the kiss ends. Plenty of women can match a man's fire, But the rare ones, they take that fire and turn it into something warmer, softer, something that lights the room, not just burns bright. That's what happens when you mirror him, then lift him. You remind him of his depth. You remind him you're not here just for the surface. You want the man beneath it. And when he feels that, he's not just kissing lips anymore. He's touching a soul that doesn't just accept what's given, but gently expands it. After the kiss, when the heat softens, when silence gently enters, and the world fades down to just the two of you, there's a golden space. It's not about what you do next. It's about what you ground. And sometimes that grounding comes with one line, one simple, honest sentence that cuts through the fog and lands directly in his chest. That one line doesn't just describe what happened. It anchors it. It makes it real. It ties the emotional thread into something lasting. Most people miss this moment. They stumble over words, fumble for small talk, or pretend the kiss was just casual. But a woman who understands emotion knows better. She knows the kiss isn't just a kiss. It's a doorway. And if you don't walk through that door with courage, it slowly closes. That's why what you say next matters so much. It's your chance to turn the moment into something unforgettable. And it doesn't have to be grand. The most powerful lines are usually the plainest because they come from truth, not performance. Words like, "That made me feel really close to you," or "I didn't expect to feel that much," or even softer, "That felt real." When you speak from that place, your voice low, your presence steady, you're not just saying words, you're opening your heart. And something happens in him when you do that. Because you didn't just describe the moment, you gave it meaning. You spoke aloud something he felt, but didn't know how to say. And suddenly, he feels something shift inside. I'm safe here. I'm seen here. I don't have to pretend. This is what most people miss. A man may kiss many women, but the ones he remembers, they're the ones who gave that moment meaning. And meaning doesn't come from putting on a show. It comes from being emotionally real. That one small line, if it's true, can be the one sentence he replays when he's lying in bed, thinking of you, the one that sticks, the one that brings him back, not just to the kiss, but to you. But here's the important part. The line has to come from stillness, not strategy. This isn't about saying the right thing. It's not a trick. It's a gift. You're not trying to get him to react. You're simply offering what's real and giving him space to sit with it. And if what you say comes from softness, not fear, it becomes incredibly powerful. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's direction. You're showing him where you stand emotionally, not forcing him to meet you there, but welcoming him if he chooses to. Men aren't emotionally shut off, they're emotionally hungry. Hungry for something real, for a moment where they don't have to wear a mask. And when you speak one sentence with true feeling, you feed a part of him he didn't even know was starving. You don't need a speech, just something like, "I feel safe with you." That one sentence, it can melt years of tension. Or something like, "That didn't feel casual." Suddenly, the air changes. And even if he doesn't answer right away, the energy shifts. You've created a moment that doesn't just fade, it lingers. Some women kiss and then move on. They hide how much it mattered. But then there's the kind who stays, who holds his gaze and says just one honest line. That kind of woman, she leaves a mark. She doesn't speak to be praised. She speaks to give something meaningful. And when a man sees that, he doesn't just feel desired, he feels known. So don't rush. Don't skip past the stillness. Let the silence settle. And when the moment is open and still, speak. Say what your heart feels. Not to win him, but to honor the truth. Because in a noisy world full of masks and games, one quiet, real sentence can shift everything. Not with loudness, but with truth. And once he hears that truth from you, No kiss will ever feel the same again. After the kiss, when breathing slows and the space between you is filled with quiet tension, your next move says everything. It tells him what kind of woman you are. Many women in that delicate space fall into one of two patterns. They either pull away too fast, guarding themselves, or they hold on too tightly, scared he'll slip away. But the woman who truly stays in his mind, she stays close, but doesn't cling. She knows how to be near with warmth and presence, not pressure. She doesn't grab. She simply remains calm, open, steady. And that alone makes him want to stay closer. Being close without holding on is a delicate art. It tells him, I value this, but I don't need to own it. That message frees him. He feels connection, but not control. You become the stillness after the storm, the peace after the passion. And in that calm space, he finds something rare, emotional safety, wrapped in feminine warmth. When you stay near, your body says more than your words ever could. You don't pull away quickly. You don't change the subject to protect yourself. You stay in the moment. Maybe your head leans into his. Maybe your hand rests softly on his chest. Maybe your breath still follows his rhythm. But you're not clinging, you're just there, fully, quietly. Your energy says, I'm here and I'm okay. Whether you move or not, that calm, that's what men crave. Few women know how to be close without asking for reassurance. You're not giving yourself away, you're offering yourself fully, without fear. And that sends a powerful message. I'm whole, I want you, but I don't need you to be complete. That's not distance, it's depth. It's the kind of strength that earns both respect and desire. Think of the quiet difference between a woman whose energy says, please stay, I need you to feel complete, and the one who says, I'm already whole, but I love being close to you. One pushes, the other draws him in. Men run from pressure, but they're pulled like gravity toward grounded presence. So when you stay close, you're not trying to hold on, you're helping him root the moment into something real. You're saying, without words, this doesn't need to be chased or controlled. It can just be. Even the strongest men, the ones who seem invincible, long for a woman who can just be near, without needing to talk, without needing to fix, just being. That closeness without needing anything in return gives him room to breathe. You're not filling the space with nervous talk. You're giving him space to feel what just happened. And that still space, open, pressureless, safe, gets connected to you. He'll remember how calm he felt in your energy. And calmness like that, it's addicting. This isn't about pretending to be chill. It's not about being distant. You're not faking anything. You're simply not acting from fear. You're choosing to trust the moment, trust the energy, trust yourself. That quiet faith that your nearness, freely given, is enough. And that's not a trick. That's emotional depth. And when you live in that kind of energy, men respond. They'll lean into you, not because you're asking, but because your presence feels like something real. Something worth returning to. So the next time you kiss him, remember how you hold the moment afterward can say more than the kiss itself ever did. Don't rush. Don't retreat. Don't grasp. Stay. Soft. Open. Still. Let your closeness be a quiet invitation, not a request. Let your presence whisper, you're free, and so am I. Because the woman who can stay that near, that peaceful, that rooted, she becomes more than just a lover. She becomes home.